Heather Allen on live. Welcome. Just gonna take myself off screen. Testing. Is that me?
Teacher. Boy. Oh,
Good morning. Good evening.
hey,
I can't believe it. Good morning.
I can't hear.
Oh, you
Wait a
can't
minute.
hear?
Oh, God.
Hello, everybody. This is Heather Allen, son and teacher, who I think I know who that
There you
is.
go. I didn't hear you because I had my computer shut down.
Good
I've been
evening.
sick. Huh?
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening to you. Is that your sister there in the
Yes,
who's in a
in a
state
pose.
of solidity, I guess,
Then we have
or
Heather Allen.
hi Heather. Heather's here. Let's see.
Hello, sorry, I'm in the midst of something. I'm listening.
That's okay. You know you're here.
Who's that? Hi. See who we have here. Let me put my glasses on. Hi, Tasneem.
Hi, Mike. How are you doing?
I've been sick all day. You guys can diagnose me later. I really thought I had to go to the hospital. Actually, I didn't.
What?
Oh, that's sick.
I had a tremendous pain in my lower back on the left side that I was just screaming. And
You're being recorded, just letting you know.
yeah, it's all right. I don't care.
Okay.
Yeah, I can talk about it later. It's but it's extended.
Yeah,
around.
let's talk about it later.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe you can help me out.
Definitely be ready to diagnose.
What's that?
I said happy to diagnose.
Yeah, I'm having difficulty hearing you. Maybe that's me, but it's chop. Your voice is choppy on the audio.
Can Heather connect? It looks like all I'm seeing is connecting to audio.
Hey, Anya. How are you? I'm all right.
I noticed you still have a Christmas tree there.
That's the second one. This is a fake one. We needed some happy, something happy in the living room. So we put it back up. Or we put this one up when the other one fell apart.
This is lit up.
Yeah. Why, do you like it?
Do I like it?
What?
Yeah. It's
You want to say hi? This is your namesake. Well, you're being recorded, Anya.
Oh crap.
Oh, here, no, come on.
You're
You can
welcome
say
to
hi.
join us.
Alya and her sister.
Hello.
Hi.
Where are you going?
Taking blue out. Pretty small. Okay. Nice to see you.
Nice to meet you.
Maybe you should be in on this when you get back. You want to? You want to analyze a piece of art?
Yeah, I do.
No?
Good evening. Good morning. Cindy
Hi.
Bierman. You made it. Early
It's
morning.
Alya,
Why?
can you hear me? Is my audio on?
Beautifully.
Prayer call.
see you.
It's prayer
Huh?
call right now.
It's what? What
You
call
said
is it?
prayer call.
Oh,
Prayer call.
Oh, that's a good call. We'll take that.
But she's
Right on.
frozen now. I'm going to mute my mic.
So I've been listening to some gamma music. Gamma brainwave music. Visit Podbean. Sounds like it's got an ad.
Cindy, you're up really early.
I was trying to say before I lost my connectivity that it's prayer call right now. It's before dawn. It's beautiful. I love this time of morning. Sorry, I forgot to brush my hair. I got up at 5:15.
Wow, that's dedication.
I've got my tea
You got your tea and a big smiling.
and a big smile.
Wow. Heather, where are you coming in from? I can't.
I'm in Kamloops, BC,
Oh, wow.
in Canada.
This is the beauty of the internet and Zoom.
Where
connection.
are you?
I'm in Sacramento, California.
Okay, we're in the same time zone.
Yes.
Oh, good.
Are we?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm not on that end of Canada. Yes.
Okay. Well, we'll start in a few minutes. I'm just going to wait for a few more minutes for anybody else to enter into the room. Have you been on one of these workshops before, Heather?
I did a Facebook group with Julia and Lysanthia
Okay.
a couple of years ago, and then was supposed to attend at Columbia. I was supposed to go to New York. I actually did go to New York, but someone else booked the flight, and she booked it for the wrong weekend.
Oh. Oh.
We went anyway and had a wonderful time, but we ended up not doing the course, but that was okay. We had a nice time.
Yeah, there you go.
So, but yeah, anyway, I did do an online, I've done a couple of them actually with the two of them.
Wonderful. So I know Cindy is new to this space or to this place or Zoom that we're on. What brings you here, Cindy?
Curiosity, I think.
Yeah.
I just want to hear what you have to say and listen to the dialogue and take away as much as I can from it. So this is a first.
This is the first.
So I'm learning.
Yeah, we all are. Learning is what we do all our lives. We never stop. And I think it's absorbing, and curiosity is how we should, I think, how we learn more, and not that we just learn the deeper parts of where what we're working with. And I think that seeking that curiosity out of that is even greater. And what I see with curiosity is the realm of possibilities it allows people to have and open up to. Tasneem Khan, I know you very well.
Mhm.
Too well.
Hello.
What brings
Hello.
you here?
I'm
Multitasking.
Where is she?
I'm just leaving Costco. I
Oh,
had to get toilet paper and asparagus.
Very important.
how elegant.
How elegant, right?
Yes.
I do. Yes, even Costco can be quite elegant. You
Yeah.
know, I masterfully navigated all those, you know, dodged people and got in and out fairly quickly. So I am late. I was supposed to be at home, but I realized we didn't have some important items at home, such as toilet paper. So we need to go get that.
Okay.
Anyway,
Very
I'm
good.
here because I am very curious, like Cindy. I think a more deeper understanding of kind of the narrative medicine component for me it would be helpful. So, you know, I have a difficult time putting things down on paper, like writing. And so, but once I do, I feel like I can do well, but I just need to feel more motivated to do it. It's me.
Yeah. I like how you feel about narrative medicine in terms of writing and reflecting and being present with that. I think that is sometimes what we seek, and having that time, having that focus and that desire to put it in words. There's so much we can put in words, and so much we have a hard time putting in words, written or heard. And Mr. Teacher, Mike,
Yeah, what's up?
What brings you here? From New York. Long
Well, you
Island.
insisted I come for one thing.
Yeah.
Not really. Well, I've been to a couple of workshops. I enjoyed them. I'm always interested in learning more. I'm interested in the material. I'm not a physician, I'm a teacher, but you know, I think this applies to my interaction with students who are often coming from troubled backgrounds, and listening to their story and accentuating my listening skills. And yeah, I've had fun with the 2 workshops I've been to. So, but I think it is useful actually to someone in my profession as well.
Yeah. In many professions, I would think, I mean, there's no hierarchy of professions. I feel that what we give to ourselves and to others is how we can identify ourselves for sure. But how we dispel that curiosity and the words and the knowledge, it can have come from anywhere, I believe. I don't know. Being a teacher is a very important role. Um, and just even thinking about your students and having, connecting with their story. So yeah, we'll talk a little bit about narrative medicine to start with, and just to, when I first heard of narrative medicine, I thought it was a writing class. I thought, oh, I'm going to learn how to write. And I'm going to sit and take a class, and I'll do, these things, and I'll learn about writing because that's what I wanted to do. Little did I know that it was more than just writing. It is about really, really going deeper into where we are, who we are, using all modalities. I mean, the literature, the sciences, the visuals, the focus on listening, the focus on the radical. I mean, there's a term called radical listening, radical observing, and we'll be doing this kind of exercise today with the work presented to us. But that's just a methodology to getting to that place of connection with people, with patients, with disease, with pain, and really hoping to extract some of the beauty of that, that experience, and sharing. And when I teach this to students and residents, and they would always look at me like, I just have to get my work done. I just have to go into the room and get my work done and do my checklist and get it, get through the day. And the power of that, the power of what they were not able to, at least they didn't feel I mean, I'm sure they know the value of connection, but just not having that ability to do it at times because they're so bombarded and stressed. So it takes a lot of time and to kind of allow people to say, hey, you don't have to, it doesn't take an hour to know. It takes a few minutes of presence, and teaching those methodologies to being able to build on your empathy and compassion and listening and being present. I think being present, with people who you're have the privilege of getting to know through medicine, through healing. So that's kind of the long answer to narrative medicine, but there's so many different ways to express what narrative medicine is. And so I guess we'll start with our class. And the first exercise that I think everybody's familiar with the chat. So if you want to put anything in the chat, any thoughts, any comments, please do. I'm really curious about people's names and how you were named, the story of your name. And we're going to just go around the room, the Zoom room. And I'd like to hear just a few minutes of, who you are, what is your name, the story of your name. So whoever wants to go in first or talk. Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
You want me to go? Who's going? my name's Lawrence.
Mm-hmm.
Although I'm not called that, I'm called by my middle name, Mike, which was my father's middle name. And I've done some research into this. I should have just asked my parents when they were alive, but I guess I didn't get around to it. Why they called me by my middle name, but that's a sort of a German thing. For instance, Johann Sebastian Bach was Sebastian Bach, right? And there are other examples. So this wasn't the case with my family, but in Germany and Austria, there were oftentimes the male children were given the same first name for some reason, which necessitated calling them by their middle name when their parents addressed them. So, yeah, I guess that's about it.
That's about it. That's a lot. Beautiful. You're next on Cindy. I think just because we're going by order, who is
Okay.
in the screen.
Well, I have to start with, I think that it's just an interesting start to a conversation to talk about people's names, because really what could be more important about a person is his or her name. But I think I was named, I was always told Cynthia is a Greek name. I'm not sure if that's true, but I mostly go by my nickname, which is Cindy. And I changed the spelling of it when I was 12 from a Y at the end to 2 E's because I wanted to be different. And so now I am not 12 anymore. And I have 2 E's at the end of my name, which sometimes I feel looks a little silly and childish. But my husband calls me Cynthia, and Manoj Mednani calls me Cynthia. Some people call me Cynthia, and otherwise I go by the common nickname, which is Cindy.
Common nickname.
Mm-hmm.
E, double E, Bierman.
Kind of cutesy.
Double N.
Yeah, I know, right?
There's a lot of
and then my last name is Bierman, which is an interesting name to marry into because I've had to spell it every single day that I've lived with him. Because there are 2 E's and 2 N's, and it's beer, like beer that you drink. For most people, I have to spell that last name. Anyway, I married that name.
Yes, you married it. Heather, Allen.
Well, my first name, my mom, I guess, wanted to call me Lori, and my dad was in love with the name Heather. So I guess my dad named me, and I feel like that's a connection that I have with my dad. He liked to paint flowers, and we didn't get along very well for most of our lives together, but I feel like he really loved the beauty of flowers and his garden, and I feel like that's a connection that I have with him that's really good.
Oh my gosh. That takes you inside. Your name takes inside. Yeah.
Pardon me?
That takes us inside to you. I mean, I like that. Your connection, your want for your dad. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Tasneem Khan.
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Very well.
Okay.
Superbly.
Good. So my name is actually, it's just always, it's been something I've carried through my life, and I've sort of had this love and not so love for my name because it's made my life very difficult in many places because it's so difficult to pronounce. So my name is Tasneem, but we lived in so many countries, nobody could ever pronounce it well. And so I got called all sorts of things like Tasmania, Tasman, Tamsin, lots of things. And it's just been, I've just learned to have a lot of patience with, just not getting upset about it anymore. I let go of that many years ago. But the name is very beautiful. I didn't learn what the meaning of my name was until we just moved back from England and we were living in Pakistan. And somebody else, my parents never told me what it meant. I have an older cousin whose name is also Tasneem. And I think my dad named me that. He liked the name. But it wasn't until I was older, at about the age of 10, when like this friend of the family came in and he said, "Do you know what your name means?" And I said, "No." And he said, "It means fragrance. It means this, fragrance, lots of fragrance." And I thought, well, that's great. My parents named me Fragrance. But then somebody else I met said, "Your name is actually a word for a river in heaven." And the river is so enveloping. It's beautiful. It's has fragrance and it's water, and so it's yeah. So that's what my name means, and I really try to live and embody my name as much as I can, because I feel like somehow my parents must have, or something karmic must have happened when they chose that name, and so I try to try to live up to it. So, and my last name is Khan. And because I'm feeling chatty, I'll just tell you my name before my maiden name was very difficult again. My first name was difficult to pronounce, and my last name was long, and there were multiple names, and I never knew which one I was using in which country. And so when I married my husband, his last name is Khan, I thought this is great because it's such an easy name and it's so common. But then I was doing my residency and I had, just, that name, I'd taken on that name. And I remember at the hospital, there were like 5 different Dr. Khans of all different specialties. And so they would call us on the overhead at night, and 4 or 5 of us would show up in the emergency department or in the OR. We never knew who it was until we got there. So that very common last name has often, it's made things simpler, but maybe not so. But I appreciate, that it's a good short name.
Wow. Isn't it interesting how the stories of our names are built into our identities, and how these stories from other people, from places, from history, and even the names we make up for ourselves, help us identify ourselves and reveal ourselves, invent ourselves, and even the name, as everybody's, how the name evolves in our understanding of our own name, even over time. However, I think what we're going to focus on is also what our stories of our name, or even what reveals and what doesn't necessarily to reveal, or and can conceal with our story of our names. So, with much ado, I'm going to start on our.
Wait, Alya,
Yes.
you're not off the hook. You realize?
Oh my gosh. I guess I'm not.
Yeah.
He caught me. Okay, my name is Alya. I also had to learn about my name as a child, and my name, to me, I was told, meant brave. I don't know, it was the pronunciation too that I could never get to, because it was an Arabic name, and a heavy sound, and so I always didn't like that. Alya, it's like that. You have to do that thing with your throat, and it used to hurt. But that's the name, that's how you pronounce it. So, but there's another way that we pronounce it in our culture, is the easier way, so we don't have to do that, with your throat and look ugly. So it was Alya, so.
Beautiful.
So the way you pronounce it really, to me, wasn't important until I moved to the Middle East, and then I had to pronounce it properly. But okay, forget that. My name, to me, was told, again, I was brave, 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 and I embodied that braveness. I felt like if my name means brave, then I have to be brave. So in every situation, I was brave. I held bravery like an armor, until somebody told me while I was in the mosque, she was giving me a lecture on my name and how I should pronounce it. And she told me, "Do you even know the meaning of your name?" And I said, yes, of course I do. I know my name. I know what meaning of my name. She was, what is your meaning of your name? You know? And I said, it means brave. And she laughs. She laughs at me. She, what? It doesn't mean brave. And I was like in college by then, and I was really trying to learn Arabic and trying to be a good Muslim and in the mosque. And so she, what do you mean? My name, that really told my name is brave. And she goes, it doesn't mean brave. And I said, okay, so what does it mean? He said, it means high, being just high. That's all it means is high. So I was so disappointed. I was like, oh, I'm not brave anymore. And no, it just means high. So I walked around wondering, why did my parents name me this? Just the meaning, that's all it means is high. I still question that, but I think I have felt it's more than just high. I mean, it has to be high, like high above what, or what, you know, what is that high is it some kind of hierarchy? What, you know, I'm still working with that understanding of my name.
Alya, I don't know if you trust Wikipedia, but it says your name in Arabic. Actually, it's like high, but it's much more to it. It means sky, heaven, and loftiness.
Oh, loftiness. That's
Yeah. And in apparently its original meaning was heavenly. Well, there you go again, and beautiful. So, but that was the Arabic.
that's the Arabic has many words. We should go around the room. Yeah, the many meanings. Okay, so welcome, friends, family, and people from around the world. Thank you for being here. As we start, everybody's familiar with, you know, how to do a Zoom thing, so I'm not going to talk about that. What I am going to talk about today is an artist, and I am not very good with pronunciation. So Rene Magritte, I guess. He is a Belgian artist, and he was more of a surrealist. As you can see in the picture in the back, I'm sure maybe you've seen that picture.
Yeah.
So his art was quirky, was witty, and he speaks to everything we see hides another thing. What we always want to see what is hidden by what we see, but it is impossible. This is just part of the quote of the mystery of what is present, what is apparent, but what is concealed, and how you present that in surreal art comes to, I think one of the things he talks about was whenever people looked at his paintings, the first question is what they would ask is, what does it mean? What does this painting mean? And he enjoyed listening to that discourse about the meaning of his work as people understand it. So and one of the things that we do maybe I should go back. One of the things we do in narrative medicine is really teaching methodologies to narrative medicine. Like how do you enter into a story? How do you enter into a space? How do you enter into a painting? It takes 5 minutes, really, of radical presence. So as I switch to the next slide, and I'll start a little timer, and I will focus on this visual, this piece by Rene Magritte. And I really just want to everybody just be very present with this picture. I hope you can all see it, and spend 5 minutes just looking, and if you want to write it down, some notes on some of your thoughts, please do. So whatever comes to mind, and then after 5 minutes of observation, of radical presence with this painting, we'll talk and share. Okay, so I'll stop my timer.
We're looking at the painting behind him?
No, we're looking at this painting here.
All
Can you
right.
see it?
Got it.
Everybody see the
Yeah.
painting?
Yep.
So Le Mans, that's the name, and it's the painting's name is called The Lovers. And this is because it's Valentine's month, I guess, or Heart Month. So timer starts now. 5 minutes. So
That's it.
yeah, you this is part of our identity and part of our ourselves are sometimes ourselves, but also we present ourselves in our relationships and how we reveal ourselves in our relationships. as well, and identify ourselves through that relationship. As we look at this painting and really look at it, I want to acknowledge the fact that paintings, just even looking at it, we can look at it and we can look at it in terms of a story, in terms of really entering into that piece. Its story as a plot, as something that reveals to us. What do you think is happening in this painting? Can't see anybody. Who wants to open to that?
I think what's happening is that the two unidentified people are embracing. So presumably they're lovers.
Mm-hmm.
Just what's happening, or
Yes.
or more of
What
an
is happening in
interpretation?
this painting?
A
What do you
kiss.
think is happening in this painting?
I have a little bit different take on this painting, I think. Is it okay if I share?
Yes, please. This is
When I looked at this, I didn't identify with this painting as if the woman is me. I looked at this painting from the perspective of where I live and the number of arranged marriages. And that's the first thing that I thought about, that people are put together and meant to love and connect, despite often not seeing each other before they're introduced for the first time, and before they're married, actually, or before their first date. That's the first thing I thought of when I saw this.
Could I ask where you live, Cindy?
I live in Dubai. I've been here for almost 17 years, and we're surrounded by countries where there is, and professionally, I work with people who are part of arranged marriages. It's very typical, and there's no judgment, because I think sometimes they might work better than, but that's what I see when I see this. I can't
see that.
unsee that.
Wow. Yeah, so it has some context. Anybody else want to share what they see is happening?
My experience was like it felt like a very like a deep sharing moment between these two individuals, that they're not relying on facial expression or the smell of each other or their sensation of skin touching skin. It's like, but they're two beings, they're two essences, they're coming together. And I see that because the draping is very loose. They're dressed up, and there's quite a bit of light on their clothing. So it doesn't feel very heavy, or it feels very deliberate for me. That's what I see. It's a very deliberate choice. And they seem very close. Like it doesn't seem forced. It feels like it's very voluntary. Like they're doing it for fun. It's like serious play or something. That's what I experienced so far anyway.
Wow. I like how you took away the actual real need of the visual of the face and the smell and the skin and the touch, and the focus just even on the embrace. Beautiful.
You had asked what was going on, but I have a bit more of an interpretation if
Okay.
you want to hear it.
Of course.
Um,
I'm just gonna switch the screen to so I can see everybody here.
yeah, I think what came to me is that the painting suggests that since we don't see the faces of these people, that really any two people can be in love. And also the fact that we don't see their faces suggests to me that what people look like physically is not necessarily the most important component in a loving relationship. Also, the whiteness of the cloths covering their faces suggested to me that they're almost like shrouds, and I got to thinking that that may be a way of indicating that love actually transcends death, because the again, what I saw to be shrouds covering their faces.
You know,
That's
shrouds,
all I have.
context shrouds. It's not just cloth, it's shrouds. And when we hear the word shrouds, it's definitely coming, curious about that aspect of shroud. And is that a deliberate use of the whiteness in the cloth and the draping of shrouds, just on their faces.
Can you put the painting up again,
Sure.
please?
Tasneem, do you have? I say Tasneem, it's Api, really. Any?
Yeah, you want me to talk?
Yes. What do you think is happening in this painting?
Well, I'm gonna go somewhere quieter. When I looked at this, I actually my initial experience was a little shock.
Ah,
And I was like, what? So it elicited this emotion of just like, what is that? And my immediate first thought was what Mike said was, the shroud of death when when you die. It's, at least this is how I've, seen bodies wrapped up in death is this, and then the contour of the face. And so then it started to feel a little better. And then I started to think, well, and then the concept of, love transcends appearance. Very much what interestingly what Mike just said. And then I started looking at their clothes and I started thinking, what's the style that, and then I started thinking, well, is love only between a man and a woman, and that same love can be between it can be experienced in many different ways, but perhaps this is the kind of love that can be experienced between a man and woman. And then I was looking at their clothes and I noticed his tie is very thin, and that's like, it reminded me of is a particular style. And, her sleeve is kind of cut off there. But I could tell, because initially when they were shrouded, I thought, well, this could be any person of any color. And then when I saw her arm, I said, well, I guess not, maybe not. And so, and they look like two very, beautiful people. Like you look at the contour of his nose, you look at his profile, you imagine underneath, you start to think, what's underneath there? And you imagine them to be thin and slim and beautiful and have great profiles. So I did that. And then I looked at the background and I thought, wow, it's kind of dreary back there. They didn't put like sunshine and a blue sky. It's kind of a dreary, cloudy something, maybe dusk, later than dusk. And and I wondered about why that background, like if this is, is the background supposed to also convey more of a dark imagery to this, or is it, or otherwise?
May I add that my analysis of this is also based on the arm and the color of her skin took me to what I said before. So I think that's interesting. We all noticed even those details. I guess you have to, right? Anyway,
This is the class, right? No, I think when I look at this, I think it's important to acknowledge your reaction. I mean, everybody spoke about how they connected to that picture with the response and emotional response, and that's not accidental. My reaction was very much, oh, this looks artificial. There's an artificialness to this. There's something like, it's something hidden. Definitely there's deliberate, it's almost like they're statues, but then when you really, really look, you see, as Tasneem said, you see the contours, you see the embrace, you see the very want of these two souls connecting, and the mystery, I guess, of that connection is hidden to us in this picture, but yet parts are not. What does their postures suggest? How do you, I mean, looking at how they're together, what about their postures? What do you think that reveals in their relationship?
that they're trying to get as close as possible because his right shoulder is leaning in and touching her.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly don't think it's a very good rendition of posture. I can't tell. I can't tell, like, I'm wondering like where his left arm is, where is her arm? I'm wondering if this is like, I actually had a difficult time with the posture to figure out, he's taller than her, but I really couldn't, I had a hard time. I almost felt like, I think this painting is off. I think, anatomically something's wrong here, like with his neck and with his tie, like, like this tie is like, when you do the buttons and it's supposed to be really smooth, the collars, like his look very bunchy. And so I couldn't tell. Posture was very difficult for me. And at times I even question, are they really kissing? Mm-hmm. I thought maybe they're just cheek to cheek, or something.
That's interesting because I see them all the way down. I can picture them all the way down and where their hands are and everything, their arms.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk to Hannah about this because she's an art historian.
Yeah.
I'm going to know I want to hear what she has to say about this particular painting. I want to know more now.
There you go. Curiosity.
Yeah.
Anybody else want to share about what they think about this posture? I call it an embrace, really, myself. And I also am a little disturbed by the distortions because it just doesn't seem like the neck is aligned with his neck and his contour. It just don't seem to align. There is something off. But it's not, it's more the body is, there's that body and then there's the actual connection with the faces that's all suggestible. Anybody else?
Well, I just wanted to say something too, like sort of what Tasneem was mentioning, that, maybe if it is 1928, maybe it is two women, or maybe it is two men. That's why their faces are covered, you know. And
Interesting.
I also, like Cindy, I really, I really feel, it's very compelling for me. Like, I'm like, oh, I totally get this. Like, I'm there. So I can sort of see their bodies as well. And any distortion, I guess I'm sort of filling in what's missing. Like, I feel myself or sense myself doing that. And I'm also aware that what I see in it is more about me than what the artist painted. Like, what I'm seeing is more about me. Like, and it seems to change as we discuss it, you know, like every person that shared something, it's like, oh yeah, I can see why you would see that. Or so it's kind of changing how I'm interacting with the painting as well.
I just wanted to add something that just occurred to me as I'm listening to everybody talk here, is, you know what this, and I don't mean to be dreary and dull, but it just felt like now that the shroud, that you never really know somebody, and you can love them, but it's frustrating. You just can never really be that intimate. There's always something in the way that, you know, that it's not meant to be. It's just, it's a it's a delusion.
Intimacy.
And no, the purity of intimacy, the skin to skin contact, the belief that you are one, and that unification of you know, two souls and two beings is just, it's not possible because the enshroudment is there. That's what it made me feel like. I was like, yeah. And then now I'm thinking, and that explains the way his body is kind of like, yeah, and it's like, it's just not there. Funny, you know.
As it reveals itself more and more. Go ahead, Mike.
No, I like what Tasneem said. I think, and I like what Heather said too about the fact that you know, it could be, we don't know who these people are, and that's as I pointed out also, that any two people can be in love, and they could be two women, or right. So maybe it is a woman, because it explains that she doesn't know how to tie a tie that well. Not used to it. Whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. So
also, if you look at where their faces meet,
yeah,
it's sort of interesting to, I mean, the visual, it seems to, if you look at it, it looks like the figure on the left, you look at it one way,
yeah,
that individual's face is more in the foreground. But then if you look at it again, you see that the figure on the right, you can look at it, that individual's face or head is in the foreground too, because you see that what I presume to be the nose on the figure on the right seems to be in front of the rest of the face of the left figure. But then it's one of these, like, I don't know, these type of pictures where you can, you know,
look at it from angles, and
yeah, it plays tricks on you.
yeah,
And maybe there's something with that.
I'm curious.
Do you see what I'm talking about? Do you see?
Yeah, I do.
Can definitely see that. You know, looking at it from one angle and then looking at it again in a different angle, it just
Does anyone see happiness in this? Because I don't. I see desperation and pain for some reason, even though it's an embrace and a kiss. Maybe it's the way the fabric is draped on her, especially,
Well,
or
let's
on the
talk about-
figure on the left.
let's talk about the mood here. What mood does this evoke?
Pain to me. Sadness.
Pain, sadness,
Futility.
futility.
I don't get that at all. I don't feel that way about it at all.
Tell me.
I feel like it's like they're deliberately doing this. It's about exploration. They're exploring their connection without using a typical signals of that connection. They're removing one form of that connection so that they can have a deeper relationship. And I think it's playful. I think they're playing. And it's evening time, it's nighttime, and I feel like it's sophisticated. Like they have a sophisticated understanding of what they're doing. And that's the sort of the light, the contrast in the colors. That's what I received from it. I don't know if that was the intention of the artist, but that's what I see from it.
Well, the setting and the mood, there's a setting, like I can see the moon shining on them in the night, as you suggested, Heather. What kind of setting do you think this?
It looks like it's outside of maybe like a place where you would go to eat, and it's nighttime, and they've just around the corner, and they've just had an encounter together, and they're just like, let's try this. Let's see what happens when we do this. And it's just capturing that moment.
Interesting. Because now I'm trying to see it that way.
I like the playfulness. I can see the playfulness now. I can see it as like, let's try how it feels to kiss with just these shrouds on us. And
yeah, like maybe it's a scarf, and it's either end of a scarf, and she's just taken the scarf and put it over her head and put it over his, and they're playing. So that's what I see.
Sorry.
No, that's good.
Yeah, as I'm looking at this, I don't want to give you the impression I'm obsessed with this death motif in this painting, but if you look at the cloth, I won't even use the term shroud, but the cloth that covers their heads, the top of their heads is very skull-like to me, and also, this was painted in 1928, which is 10 years after the most, at the time, the deadliest conflict in human history. There may be a suggestion that that some lovers no longer exist because of what humankind has done to itself.
But also what Mike just said, 10 years after the great influenza, when I saw this, some of the other things that I thought about, was what we're going through now with the pandemic and the masks, which we're still wearing down here. And I can identify in some way with this, that some people are having to wear those masks even when they're trying to be close to one another. I thought about that when I saw this. You can't help probably think about that nowadays, but.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, that's a good one. And,
Yeah.
You know, that
Well,
now that you said that, I'm sort of, I sort of find myself wishing these people, you know, because I know what it's like to wear a mask teaching all day, and the
mm,
sweat that builds up under
mm,
the mask and everything. It's very, it's unpleasant. And I'm thinking that, you know, you wish these two people could tear these
Mhm.
coverings off their heads and be free.
yeah,
Uh,
very true. Very true.
Hmm.
Some things we do on purpose and some forced and some we do because we want to or need to, you know, these masks in even in relationships as intimate as we see or supposed to see here. Hmm. Well, now I'm going to move on to our next
Hmm.
part of this is where we write. Um, and I hope everybody has a paper or pencil or something to write with or um, and the paste paper too. We'll do a timed kind of prompt. I'll give you a prompt, and then for 5 minutes you can write whatever you feel from that prompt. Um, and we'll be sharing hopefully our prompt that we're writing if you feel comfortable doing that. Um, and you know, we'll talk more through our writing. How does that sound to everybody? Do they? I don't know who's doing this thing.
what's the prompt though?
The prompt, of course, the prompt is important. Hold on. What's happened to my screen? Okay. You can write about what you concealed. I don't know, conceal or concealed, or write about what you reveal or revealed. What you revealed. So I'll start my handy dandy timer here.
So
Everybody,
Alya, the when you say write about what you, meaning me, concealed, that's suggesting that there were things that maybe the painting suggested to me that I didn't share. Is that what the
the
suggestion is?
prompt is just for you to explore what this piece of work allowed you to reflect on yourself as far as what you find through this, just looking at the painting and going back to the art, um, what you
So
consider. Um,
it is based on the painting that we just reviewed, yeah?
and that,
Okay.
yes. Does that make sense? So do you want me to start? I can start now.
Sure.
Okay, 5 minutes and just writing. 30 more seconds. Okay, 5 minutes, 20 seconds. I went a little over, sorry. um, so as we talk about and share and listen, please consider that there's no qualifying to this. You don't say, I wrote this because of this, or it is always what it is as it is. And it's not meant to be done better, or it's not this or that. It is what it is as it comes through. And then everybody, please listen in, being again very focused and present with each of our readings. Try to listen to the words as you hear them, and consider anything that comes to mind when you respond to the words and the context of those words. So I'd like to open that up now to whoever wants to speak about what they wrote. If they feel comfortable sharing, of course.
Yeah,
Why don't you?
I'll go if somebody else speak. What
Not
happened?
me.
You want to go,
Not
or
me.
somebody else?
Don't pick on me. Okay, I won't pick on you yet, Cindy.
What happened?
No, not
I
me.
don't want to go first.
Okay,
You don't want to.
I don't.
okay.
I'll
I
go.
want to hear what you have to say, please.
Mike, go.
Go. Okay. Well, the way I took the question, I interpreted the question. Even the questions, the prompts themselves were subject to interpretation, but maybe
Yes,
that's all
Mhm.
well and good.
I agree.
All right, so that's why I moved my place. I moved downstairs. All right, I'll do it. I concealed the difficulties in my own relationship, my own marriage are reflected in the painting. As my wife and I may likely part after having been together for 29 years, painting suggests to me that we may not have really known each other, or that we have changed over the years. Again, seeing the faces are covered, and that we are unable to identify our partner, whom we believe we knew. Presently, we were unable to identify them. Also, I look at the one could look at this and say there's not really a kiss taking place. It's only the suggestion of a kiss. There's a suggestion of love, perhaps where there no longer is any.
Mm.
So
Mm.
that's about all I could say.
That's sad. That made me sad.
Makes me,
And
yeah, okay. So
we're
I'm
connecting
sorry if I
this
did that to you, but
yeah.
No, but I'm gonna then chime in because I thought of my husband. I thought of my husband too, not to the same degree, but that and he's probably walking out now. That's just why I closed the door, because I'm now in the dining room and the sun is up and my housekeeper's out with our dog, so I have a little bit of quiet. But I thought of my husband, that the shroud is, not the shroud, the cover is there, that I've often said to people that we're not soulmates. That's not to say I don't love him, and Tasneem and Alya have known me and us for so long, 16 years. And we have probably a love-hate relationship, and not love-hate, that's terrible to say. I don't hate him ever, but it's a challenge. We have a lot of disagreements. And so that's what I saw.
Yeah, and it's interesting how you felt like you had to close the door and Mike had to move downstairs.
Yeah.
Luke.
The revealing and the concealing and the of a relationship that's very intimate, and sometimes some things are not shared.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, you made me sad, Heather. I mean, Cindy. So we're even. We're even now.
Cindy with two E's, the cute Cindy,
Cindy with 2 E's.
right?
12-year-old Cindy.
You know, on a happier note, just one thing that's not related to this, but the opening that we had with the names. I mean, one of the things that I think we can love about our names is that they were given to us by our parents who loved us.
Yeah.
And every time I hear my name, not every time, but I think of them. I think how they must have thought about it and said, we want this to be Mike, and that's very special to me. Yeah.
Is Mike now?
Anyhow.
Yeah. Cindy, thank you, Mike. I think, when we talk about identities and relationships, and again, we'll identify ourselves through our relationships. How do we do that in that evolution? How it changes, how it covers and exposes itself. I'm curious to know, Cindy, what you wrote.
I didn't write a lot, Alya. I struggled.
No preamble. No, you don't have to qualify it. Just what did
I just struggled to get my thoughts down on paper with the prompts, and I had my thoughts and I shared them, but I didn't really get them on paper, and that's why I didn't want to speak first.
Okay.
Because I kind of wanted to hear where someone else went with the prompts before I admitted myself where I went with the prompt.
Just need anybody else want to share?
Can I see the prompts again?
The prompts again. Okay. It is a funny prompt.
I know it's only 2 questions. There really should be, but I just.
Share. Where do I go to share? Share screen.
Well, Tasneem, you said you don't write things down very well, so we'll.
Oh, she writes plenty. Write about what you can. I changed the prompt a little bit. Again, this was Julia's prompt, so I'm going with what Julia put here. But write about what you concealed. But I think it's more about what you conceal, or write about what you reveal, or what you think you revealed. Again, that's how I'm interpreting it.
I think, yeah, write about what you conceal or concealed looking at that painting. And, I think what I'm interpreting is asking is what emotional or what response did you conceal, and write about what you revealed as a consequence of looking at the picture, at the painting. I didn't write. I didn't feel like I concealed much. I think that I'm sure everybody here has read Wuthering Heights.
Yeah.
Wuthering Heights.
Long time
Heathcliff.
ago.
Everybody.
And right, but I saw it as a child when we lived, I don't know where, England or something, and I remember how that movie made me think of, the juxtaposition of love and hate, because that's what it's about, right? It's like the extreme love they have for each other, and then how it kind of morphs, and then, I don't remember, but it is about that, and how, so when I looked at that, I didn't feel like I concealed much, because I'm speaking to people that I sort of know, except for Heather. I know Cindy knows me, and Mike, you kind of know me. But I think what it revealed is, what it revealed was, it evoked from within me that feeling of watching that movie and reflecting on my own relationship of 35 years, and really wondering about, what's going on here. And, and again, the Wuthering Heights thing is that there was beauty in the relationship, but then there was not. And that's kind of what that revealed, or is the beauty, and the beauty of the relationship, and also the ugliness of it as well. And how that can coexist.
Yeah.
Mind as they are in their embrace. Heather, do you feel comfortable sharing?
Yeah, I didn't actually have too many words. I don't feel like I really concealed much. But as we went through the process, one thing that I didn't share, but I'd like to share, I guess, was just the appreciation of what everyone else is sharing, like how much I get from that, how much I feel like that's like a transformational process for me to experience. It's part of viewing the painting for me, is to hear other people's impressions, and then sort of lean into that and have that almost be part of the painting. It's like, oh, I see that too now because you saw that. So I don't know whether I didn't conceal it deliberately or anything, but I feel like it was sort of an undercurrent for me as we were going through the process, that I didn't say anything about. And then I think what was revealed for me was sort of my capacity to see possibility in sort of liminal spaces, in being present and being willing to accept things that are hidden, that might be full of energy and full of life. And but I can only experience it as a sense of presence. I can't necessarily grasp it through my senses, like through conventional senses. It's more a feeling. So I feel like that I revealed that, and I felt like that was revealed to me. I hope that makes sense. Yeah. So I think that's all I have to say for now.
Ways.
Someone, I think it may have been you, Heather, said a couple times, and it was Cindy or Heather, that you sort of almost apologetically said, I don't know what the artist's intention was, but here's my interpretation, something to that effect. And I think I'm not an art history guy, but I think sometimes we should just simply consider the fact that an artist their intention may be to allow the viewer to make their own interpretation. And I think that could be the case here. They may have had something that in their mind that caused them to go in this direction, create this. But I think in art, we sometimes lose sight of the fact that why is the artist's interpretation, even though they created the work, have greater legitimacy than our own interpretation, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's modern art where somebody can throw a bucket of paint on a canvas, and you know, I think they're leaving it wide open to hear back from us as
What?
what this means.
You peoples, I'm taking you skiing.
Hey,
No,
no, I'm gonna put yourself on mute. Yeah.
I'm sorry. These boys are arguing with me about what.
That speaks to what Mike is saying.
No, I'm done. I'm finished. That
Yeah,
was
no,
just
I want to quote something that Rene Magritte also said about his own painting, and it said it's I just pulled it up. Rene Magritte described his painting saying, "My painting is visible images which conceal nothing. They evoke mystery, and indeed, when one sees one of my pictures, one asks oneself the simple question, what does it mean?" And
Mm-hmm.
they said that was part of the quote. It does not mean anything because mystery means nothing. It is unknowable. And there's so much to be said just about looking at something and what we see and how we see it and what we think it means, and leaving it even open to, it could mean this, it could mean something else, it could mean nothing, it could be, just allowing ourselves to how we connect to this work, and that broad interpretation, and that just even I mean, if you paint, sometimes painters deliberately paint something because that's what they're feeling, but it's interesting to see how a painting can open up
Mm-hmm.
emotion or a mood that could be so different, as we've seen in this workshop, just sadness, joy, curiosity, playfulness, all of those things are present, and it's that's what makes this painting so unique, and not even, I guess, surreal, or however you want to describe that.
I can see Mike as a teacher. I mean, it seems like you would want to use these tools to get, I don't know what age student you teach, but
high school.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the amount of discussion that we got out of one painting, and it will continue for me because I'm going to read about it now.
So I wrote, I conceal the thoughts of our hearts shroud. Our love is only parts revealed, because so much of ourselves is still to discover. We reveal only what we feel safe to reveal, nothing more, nothing less. Our hearts are contained also in shrouds, only access when we seek it. It beats, and when it does, we feel it only when it's quiet. When we are submerged in water, do we hear even ourselves? And I mentioned the water because I was in a float spa and I felt my heart. We identify ourselves through what we know of ourselves. Our identities are never our own. Our lives are yet a story, half told, half revealed. The imagination, memories are distorted as well. They speak to themselves. Reveals only first to oneself. Connection is automatic. How, who, where are we really?
That's
Wow.
beautiful.
Actually, I like. Can you read it again?
No.
Why?
That was beautiful, Alya.
Yeah, you don't want to read it again? Okay.
I want everybody else to share their story.
It was good.
Yeah,
Thank
it
you.
was a lot, and
I want to hear it again too. Encore.
so who's
Mhm.
who's asking for this? Cindy and me.
And now Tasneem.
Yeah, Tasneem.
Oh, Tasneem hasn't gone. I see. I don't see her on the screen. Okay.
I did. I
Yes.
She's
went.
Oh yeah.
recommending.
Well, mine wasn't as moving. I already went, I thought.
Yes,
You did.
yes, you did.
So there you
Okay.
go, Alya.
There
You
we
can read
go.
it again.
Here we are.
Go ahead, Alya.
Thank you.
You're not going to do it? Okay.
Oh, you want me to really? Okay.
Yeah, it was a lot, and it's to do it justice, we
Okay.
should hear it again. I think.
We conceal the thoughts of our hearts shroud. Our love is only parts revealed, because so much of ourselves is still to discover. We reveal only what we feel safe to reveal, nothing more, nothing less. Our hearts are contained also in shrouds, only access when we seek it. It beats, and when it's quiet, we are submerged. Do we hear even ourselves? Identities that we connect to, even our other identities, are never our own. Our lives are yet a story half told, most left to the imagination, memory, and distorted as well, speaks to itself, reveals only first to oneself. Connection is automatic. How, who, where are we really?
That's lovely.
Nice, Alya.
Thank you.
Are you sure you didn't do a writing course? Remember what you were saying before? It was like you were hoping that narrative medicine was going to be a writing course.
I think she
No
wrote this
writing here.
with a lot of time to spare at the beginning before. That wasn't 5 minutes worth of work,
10
let's
minutes.
face it.
It's in my planner.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's beautiful. Thank you.
No, the inspiration of this work and just even, this is what we share in this space. Ourselves, our story, our lives, our pain, our struggles. That's what narrative medicine means to me, I guess.
Yeah.
Thank you everybody for sharing and coming online.
It was great. Again. Thank you.
Thank you.
I enjoyed getting up at 5:15 for that.
Oh, I am deeply honored, Cindy. And
That
you
was really,
all
I'm
prepared.
serious. That was really nice. That was really a nice way to start the day. It was beautiful thoughts, and sharing them with other people was just lovely.
Heather, if you ever get to the workshop, it is an amazing place, amazing workshops that they do at Columbia. And I think even Mike, you're right down the road, you're Columbia alumni.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they have narrative rounds at Columbia, and it used to be you had to go there and physically be there. Now you can do it on Zoom.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and they have a couple of different ways to learn there too, the narrative medicine, right? They have a master's, but they also have
The certificate program, yeah.
the certificate. Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing.
Mike, do you live in New York City or are you in Manhattan?
No, I'm outside of Manhattan by about a half an hour on Long Island. Used to live
Okay.
there. And I went to Columbia, like Alya said.
Okay.
But yeah, if you're around, let me know.
Our daughter lives in Gramercy Park right now.
Oh, wow. So you are around sometime.
My husband is from my husband is from the village. Like you don't meet too many
Oh.
people from the village, but he is from the village.
Oh, cool.
He says he's from the south of 14th Street. So
Yeah. Yeah, I hang out a lot in the village with my daughter who stopped by.
Yeah.
Maybe she would come next time. She's 18. I mean, could she participate in something like this?
My daughter? Whose daughter?
Mine.
Your daughter.
Or
Of
yours?
course. This is open to everyone.
Yeah, okay. I mean,
When
people can be
anyone-
related, right? I mean, there's
Of
no,
course. So how are we here? We're all related.
oh yeah, well, you're
Fair
related. Yeah,
enough.
that's true. I think you're related to Tasneem too, if I'm
Very much
not
so.
mistaken. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, share this, share the word, please. The more the merrier.
Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't come up with
Open arms
anybody else.
to all. Thank you. I
Lovely.
know 2 minutes
Thank
now
you.
before we close, but thank you for everybody to, I'm honored and grateful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It was actually a lot of fun.
So,
It was kind of a small group, so it was very special.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, I like
anyway,
that.
yeah.
yeah.
So are the doctors staying on to diagnose my malady?
Oh, but I think for the sake of privacy, everybody has to get off.
You can make a phone call, Mike.
What's that?
He'll call you.
We'll call you, Mike.
Yeah,
He'll call
Well,
him in the morning. Take 2 aspirins and call him in the morning.
yeah. Wow, that's real narrative medicine talking there, isn't it? Take a couple Advil and get lost. So much for my story.
Yeah.
No, we love you, Mike. We love you, Cindy. We love you, Heather.
Thank you.
Meet again.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Nice to meet you all.
Nice to meet you.
And Cindy, I hope things work out well for you.
Okay.
Thank you. And I wish the same for you.
They will
You'll
one
meet
way
Mike
or the other.
soon, Cindy, you will meet Mike soon.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys have a nice day.
Take care, everyone.
Have a khair.
Bye.
Bye, Tasneem, if you're still there.